In the early months of 1453, the young Sultan Mehmed II prepared to launch one of the most ambitious military operations in medieval history, the conquest of Constantinople. The Byzantine capital had resisted invasions for more than 1,000 years, protected by its legendary walls and strategic geography. Before the siege began, he secured his western borders through treaties and truces, ensuring that no European force would intervene on behalf of the Byzantines. He then focused all his attention and resources on the city. Mehmed gathered a massive army of more than 80,000 men, including cavalry, infantry, engineers. He allowed messengers to enter the city offering terms of surrender safe passage, preserved lives, and minimal destruction. The Byzantines had blocked the entrance to the Golden Horn, the narrow inlet protecting the city as northern side, by stretching a massive iron chain across it. This prevented Ottoman ships from entering and launching naval attacks. But Mehmed didn't try to break the chain instead. He went around it. He ordered his navy to drag dozens of ships overland, rolling them across greased wooden logs behind the neutral city of Galata and into the Golden Horn from the other side. After weeks of bombardment, constant probing attacks, and psychological pressure, he had identified the weakest points in the city's defenses. He gathered his commanders and outlined the final plan, a three-wave infantry attack combined with simultaneous naval engagement and artillery cover. He declared to his troops that the city was theirs if they could take it. Riches, glory, and history awaited them inside the walls. His message was clear. This was not just a battle, it was destiny. This maneuver shocked the Byzantines. For the first time, the Ottomans could attack from the sea and the land simultaneously. The final assault on Constantinople was not a random charge, but a carefully orchestrated execution of military precision involving thousands of soldiers, naval units, artillery coordination, and psychological pressure. Mehmed had divided his forces into three main waves to systematically wear down and overwhelm the defenders. The first wave consisted of irregular forces, lightly armed troops with minimal training, who were sent forward not to win, but to exhaust the defenders, disrupt their rhythm, and test the city's weak points. As these men stormed the walls, climbed ladders, and took heavy casualties, they forced the defenders to commit to defense and burn through their limited energy and resources. Following this came the second wave, more organized and better equipped infantry units drawn from provincial forces and border armies. These soldiers attacked the same points the first wave had targeted, using intelligence gathered over weeks of siege to exploit newly damaged areas. They brought siege ladders, battering rams, and portable bridges, forcing the Byzantines to fight fiercely to hold their ground. Arrows flew, stones were hurled, boiling oil and fire were poured from above, yet the Ottomans pressed on with determination. While chaos engulfed the city's perimeter, Mehmed gave the order to begin simultaneous naval operations. Ottoman ships, now successfully stationed in the Golden Horn thanks to Mehmed's daring overland transport maneuver, attacked the seawalls from the northern side of the city. These naval assaults prevented the Byzantines from moving reinforcements freely across the city and forced them to split their already limited defensive forces. At the same time, artillery bombardment resumed at full force. The massive Basilica cannon and its smaller companions unleashed a relentless barrage of stone projectiles aimed at the weakened sections of the Theodosian walls. Dust and fire filled the air as the very foundations of the city trembled under the Ottoman onslaught. The defenders were fatigued, overwhelmed, and cut off from hope. Western Europe had failed to send aid, and Emperor Constantine XI knew his men were reaching their breaking point. And then came the final blow, the third wave. This time, Mehmed unleashed his elite janissaries, the most feared and disciplined soldiers of the Ottoman military. These warriors, raised from childhood in the service of the Sultan, were trained for moments exactly like this. Dressed in distinctive uniforms, shields locked, Weapons raised, they advanced like a wall of steel. They stormed the breaches created by the cannons, climbed over fallen comrades and broken stones, and broke through the final line of Byzantine defense. At the same time, a critical mistake within the city allowed a group of Ottoman soldiers to breach through a small gate known as the Kirkaporta. Whether left open by accident or neglected in the chaos, this breach proved fatal. As soon as Ottoman troops entered through the gate and raised their banner, panic spread inside the city. Defensive coordination collapsed, and soldiers rushed to protect key areas while civilians fled for safety. Emperor Constantine, refusing to abandon his post or surrender, cast off his imperial regalia and joined the front lines, sword in hand, fighting to the death like a common soldier. His final fate remains a matter of legend, but one thing is clear: he died with honor, defending the city he loved. As Ottoman troops surged through the streets, fighting continued sporadically, but resistance quickly gave way to the overwhelming force of Mehmed's army. By noon, the city had fallen. Constantinople, the jewel of the Byzantine Empire, the last vestige of the Roman legacy, was now under Ottoman control. But what followed was perhaps even more striking than the conquest itself. Sultan Mehmed II entered the city not as a brute conqueror, but as a visionary leader. He ordered his soldiers to restore order, prevent excessive looting, and protect key structures. When he entered the Hagia Sophia, the most iconic church of the Christian East, he did not destroy it. Instead, he declared it a mosque, preserving its structure and transforming it into a symbol of continuity and transformation. This moment marked the official conversion of Constantinople into the new capital of the Ottoman Empire, Istanbul. Mehmed's military victory was not merely a conquest of land, but of legacy, power, and civilization. His use of advanced artillery during the siege had demonstrated a new era of warfare where fortifications, no matter how old or mighty, could be broken with technological superiority. His strategic use of waves, coordination between land and sea forces, psychological tactics, and relentless artillery fire became a blueprint for future military campaigns. The conquest also signaled the final end of the medieval world and the dawn of the modern age. With the fall of Constantinople, trade routes shifted, European powers began searching for new paths to Asia, and the age of exploration was born. Sultan Mehmed II, through intelligence, vision, and unprecedented military planning, had not just taken a city, he had changed the course of history. Today, his siege of Constantinople stands as a defining moment in military history, a testament to how strategic brilliance and technological innovation can reshape empires and redefine the map of the world. Each offer was rejected, but they served a deeper purpose: to plant fear and doubt in the minds of defenders. Meanwhile, Ottoman spies gathered intelligence on weak points in the city as defenses and reported directly to commanders on the front lines. Tunnels were dug beneath the walls to collapse them from below, and special assault ladders were prepared for direct infantry attacks. And elite janissaries and elite corps of slave soldiers trained from childhood in military discipline and loyalty. But numbers alone would not be enough. Mehmed knew he needed an advantage never before seen in siege warfare. He attacked constantly, from every direction, and with multiple types of weapons. The defenders used sandbags, wooden barriers, and quick repairs to keep the breaches closed. But every day the Ottomans grew closer. Every strike of the cannon opened cracks in the stone. Every naval attack forced the defenders to divide their forces. Mehmed was patient. He knew that time was on his side. And when the time came, he would deliver a final blow so coordinated, so overwhelming, that resistance would collapse in an instant. He wore down the defenders not only physically but mentally. Byzantine Emperor Constantine XI tried to rally his people, but they were vastly outnumbered, outgunned, and cut off from outside help. Reinforcements from Western Europe never came. Weeks passed, and the siege dragged on, but Mehmed never let up. He rotated his soldiers to avoid exhaustion, supplied them with food and water, and kept morale high with speeches, music, and promises of reward. But Mehmed II was not an ordinary commander. At just 21 years old, he was brilliant, focused, and determined to break the city's defenses through a combination of psychological warfare, advanced strategy, and cutting-edge weaponry. The Ottoman army set up large gun emplacements just outside the Theodosian walls, the multi-layered fortifications that had protected Constantinople for centuries. These walls included a wide moat, 2 tall stone barriers, and numerous towers. Mehmed's engineers spent days calculating angles, adjusting trajectories, and coordinating strikes. The idea was not to break through all at once, but to weaken the structure section by section. Every day, the thunder of cannon fire echoed across the land, shaking buildings, breaking morale, and slowly shattering the myth of Constantinople's invincibility. This was not merely a war of armies, it was a clash of innovation and legacy, and Mehmed was prepared to use every tool available to him. The first key to Mehmed's military success was his preparation. That advantage came in the form of advanced artillery. Mehmed hired a Hungarian engineer named Orban, who claimed he could build the most powerful cannon the world had ever seen. Orban was given generous funding, materials, and labor, and within weeks he constructed a massive bombard known as the Basilica. This enormous cannon could fire stone balls weighing over 600 pounds at a distance of more than a mile. In addition to the Basilica, Mehmed commissioned dozens of smaller cannons to batter different sections of the walls simultaneously, creating relentless pressure on the defenders. The placement of artillery was a crucial element of Mehmed's plan. But Mehmed's genius went beyond just artillery. He understood the psychology of war. One of Mehmed's most brilliant strategic moves came from the sea. This multi-pronged approach was at the heart of Mehmed's military strategy. Despite the constant bombardment, the walls held longer than expected. By late May, Mehmed had decided that the time for a final assault had arrived. As dawn broke on May 29, 1453, the moment Sultan Mehmed II had meticulously planned for weeks finally arrived.